Welcome to Lotus Lane Daily. I'm glad you're here. Today's wisdom is for anyone going through something hard. You know that feeling when someone at dinner casually mentions what they paid for their car or their last vacation or their apartment, and you feel something cold and quiet settle into your chest? You nod along, you laugh at the right moments, but inside, something is running calculations that you did not ask it to run. They earn that much. And I earn this much. What does that mean about me? If you are reading this right now, it is probably because those calculations have been running on repeat. Maybe it's a colleague who got promoted past you. Maybe it is a sibling or old friend who seems to have crossed into a different income tier entirely. Maybe it is social media, which is just a highlight reel of everyone else's financial wins served to you at the exact moment you feel most vulnerable about your own. Whatever the source, the feeling is specific and heavy, not just, I have less money, but what does it say about me that I have less? That is the part worth talking about. Not the money itself, but the meaning we load onto it. What the comparison is actually doing to you. Comparing incomes is different from comparing most other things. If someone is taller than you do not feel like you failed at height. But money carries a story that our culture has told us for a long time. That what you earn is a measure of your effort, your intelligence, your discipline, your worth. So when someone earns significantly more than you, it does not just feel like they have more, it can feel like they are more. That is the lie buried in the comparison, and it runs deep. The truth, and it is not a comfortable one, is that income is shaped by dozens of forces that have nothing to do with your character, the industry you are in, the city you live in, the connections your parents had or did not have, the specific moment in history when you entered the workforce, the luck of which manager spotted you and which did not. A person working 60-hour weeks in a field that pays Rs. $30,000 a month is not less disciplined than someone in a different field making 10 times that. They are just in a different market. That does not make the gap feel smaller. But it should make you question whether the story you are telling yourself, the one that says the gap is evidence of something wrong with you, is actually true. There is a line from a collection of philosophical letters I keep returning to. Comparison is the thief of joy. The moment you start comparing yourself to others, you lose sight of your own unique happiness. That is not a platitude. It is a description of a mechanism. The comparison does not just make you feel bad. It actively pulls your attention away from your own life, your own path, your own actual progress, and replaces it with a kind of scoreboard that you did not design and cannot win. The invisible context behind every number. Here is something nobody says out loud at that dinner table. You have no idea what it costs the high earner to earn what they earn. Not financially, in every other way. The stress they carry, the things they have given up, the relationships that have frayed, the hours they will never get back, the compromises they made to get there, and the ones they are still making. This is not to suggest that money is secretly miserable and you should feel fine being broke. That would be dishonest. Financial stress is real and hard, and pretending it is not does nobody any favors. But the assumption that the person earning more is simply winning at life is usually wrong. They are living a different set of trade-offs. That is all. One old philosophical text puts it plainly, material wealth alone cannot bring happiness, but a rich heart, a rich spirit, that is the source of lasting joy. What that is pointing at is not money does not matter. It matters, practically and concretely. What it is pointing at is that the inner life, the quality of your relationships, the sense that you are living in a way that is actually yours, those things do not automatically come with a higher salary. They have to be built separately, and they can be built at any income level. What to actually do with this feeling tonight? The feeling of earning less than the people around you needs somewhere to go. Here is what actually helps in honest terms. Stop letting the comparison be silent. The most exhausting version of this is the one you run privately, in your own head, without ever examining it. What specifically are you comparing? Your income to theirs? Your total life situation to the parts of theirs that are visible. When you get precise The comparison usually becomes less overwhelming because you can see exactly where it is true and where it is a story you have constructed from incomplete information. Separate financial pressure from identity pressure. If you genuinely need more money, to pay bills, to build security, to have options, that is a practical problem, and it deserves practical attention. But that is different from the identity question, which is whether earning less makes you worth less as a person. Those two problems require different responses. The practical one needs a plan. The identity one needs you to reject a false premise. Ask what your actual trajectory looks like, not compared to anyone else, just your own line. Are you earning more than you were 2 years ago? Have you built skills that were not there before? Are you moving, even slowly? Movement on your own line is real progress. It just looks invisible next to someone else's highlight reel. Consider who you are actually spending time around. Sometimes the comparison is sharpest because you are in a specific social circle or workplace where everyone else earns significantly more. That is a real environmental pressure, and it is worth noticing. You do not have to remove yourself from it, but you can broaden the context. Spend time with people at different points on the financial spectrum, and the scoreboard starts to feel less absolute. The longer view. There is an old saying that gets used so often it has almost lost its meaning, that we compare our insides to other people's outsides. But in the specific case of income, this is genuinely, practically true. You see what they earn, or what you think they earn, often inaccurately. You do not see what they owe, what they stress about at 3 a.m., what they have traded away. You see your own full picture, including every anxiety and setback. Of course, the comparison feels unfair. It is unfair. You are comparing different amounts of information. A phrase I have encountered in several places that stays with me: do not compare yourself to others. You are you. Your path is your path. Walk it with confidence. Confidence here does not mean pretending everything is great. It means continuing to move forward on your actual path rather than trying to live inside someone else's. The gap between what you earn and what someone else earns might close over time, or it might not. But the weight you carry about what that gap means about you, that is something you can put down right now, or at least start to loosen. It is not evidence of your failure. It is evidence that you live in a complicated, unequal world where income does not track cleanly to worth. You already knew that about the world. Tonight, let yourself know it about your own life, too. You are not behind. You are on your own timeline, doing what you can with what you have. That is all any of us are doing, even the ones who seem from the outside to have figured it out. That's the wisdom for today. If something here landed for you, share it with one person who might need to hear it too. Take it slow. I'll see you tomorrow on Lotus Lane Daily.